Option, but we're back, part 2. I'm going to have 2 of these. I'd rather just do it all in one video, but anyway, where we were, we're going to continue on where we were. We're starting off with this natural justice of truth and mercy are established by God and only adhere to the position of ministers of God. Those who govern otherwise are unfit to hold such a position of trust. Only governments that rule in understanding remain. Meaning they understand the boundaries of what God has put forth. That's meaning what that's saying there, okay? It says all others naturally and rightfully fail and fall when they don't fall in accordance to what God's ordination of laws and powers are, with the assistance of those who refuse to submit to its legitimate authority. It says, according to God's cause, to accomplish the change of power, God uses humans to accomplish His retributive and exhorting will on this earth. This is seen in as God cut Israel short because of their injustice. This cutting short of higher powers includes removing an anti-Romans chapter 13 government from de facto power to establishing a Romans 13 de jure government. It is thus true. That is exactly what happened. God is the judge. He puts down one government and sets up another government in its place. The Old Testament gives numerous examples of this fact, of just how God can and will use humans to subdue kingdoms. It says, for example, in Joshua 11 verse 20, in the American Standard Version, it shows us this. This is what it reads. It says, for it was the Lord's doing to harden their hearts, that they in Canaan should come against Israel in battle in order so that they should be devoted to their destruction and should receive no mercy but to be destroyed, just as the Lord commanded Moses. The Lord commanded Moses to do just that. Okay, God hardens kings' hearts in many cases for their own very destruction, for the benefit of society. This necessarily implies that God would use human instrumentation to remove the hard-hearted tyrant who's in office or who's a ruler in government. Plus, as already shown, God does not directly communicate with prophets on direct nations to destroy other nations. The standard to understand here about God's will for individuals and nations is the very foundation is justice. It says where a ruler has hardened his heart or her heart towards this standard, those in society may be used of God to remove that hard-hearted ruler or leader, that minister of who's working for Satan to thee for bad outcome. As such, nations are formed and reformed as human history progresses, and as it tells us, that's what happened. Ensuring God-ordained government is a sworn duty of all Christians to carry out. God's will on earth as it is in heaven. That's what Scripture tells us, and that's what it says in the Lord's Prayer. God acknowledges the right of people to choose and to consent their leaders. How much more does God ordain society to choose godly government? People who desire justice and the aberration or the administration of it by becoming God's higher powers do not rebel against God, but rather conform to their duty, to their sworn duty to follow what God has commanded, meaning doing His will, His purpose for government. God's respect is not the person holding the position of office or of ruler, but is the legitimate work of God's minister. Submission or resistance to government, correlates to this very truth. All right, so that's where we're going to stop right now. And we will pick up with chapter 8 next week, Lord willing. So if you are been following along with us, I hope that you have been, because this is a real good book that we're doing right now, and I hope that you'll be able to maybe buy the book at InfoWarsStore.com or at Amazon.com, and you can get the book there because they sell it there too. It's called Romans 13, The True Meaning of Submission. It's the second edition, written by Chuck and Timothy Baldwin. I hope you enjoyed today's Wednesday night service, and I hope to see you here on Sunday at 11 a.m. for our Sunday morning worship service, and at 7 o'clock Sunday night for evening service, and then we'll see you next Wednesday at 7 o'clock for our Wednesday night service. I will see you later. I love you all. Stay strong in the faith and in the Lord. And if you are moved to help us, please send some money, because we do need donations. Thanks a lot for all those who are helping us faithfully, and may God bless you. And either way, whether you help us or not, God will still bless you and prosper you and protect you. And if you do help us, He'll bless you either way. Thank you for all those that are, once again. I love you. See you next Sunday morning with the service, and then we'll be talking about to keep or not to keep firearms, why Christians should not give up their guns. We'll be talking about that.